All right, so welcome back to the channel. So today, let's talk about some things that I like about the C6. As you can see, I'm in the C6, and some things that I like about the C5. Let's talk. All right, so I'm in the C6 today, and today is Sunday, so today is normally a day that I would be in the C6, probably Saturday also, but definitely Sunday. The weather is good today. It's been raining for the last few weeks in a row, but today is real good. Good day to let the top down and just, I had an errand or two I had to run, so I had to come out and make that. But at the same time, one of the things I like about the C6 that the C5 doesn't have yet, it probably one of the upgrades, but it's the heads-up display. I love looking up on that dash and seeing those numbers up there. That was one of the big upgrades that GM did to this vehicle. I think, I love the heads-up display. And then it's green, the hood of the car is red, and all of that just, goes in together. The second thing is the dash. I like the dash, the track, the speedometer. I like all the gauges, your oil gauge, your power gauge, your gas hand, your heating, your cooling. All of that stuff is lined up almost perfectly, man. Almost perfectly. And then I like the fact that this one is a convertible. So, but that was kind of the goal when I got the C5. I had the C5 first. The goal was to get a C6. The C6 was the one. I looked at the C7, and it was either going to be the C6 or C7. I just like the C7. The next thing is the headlights. On the C5, it has the hideaway headlights, the peekaboo headlights. Whereas on the C6, the headlights are right there by the hood, right in front of the car on top of the fender. And I mean, that was a really good upgrade coming from the peekaboo. Now, if I'm in the C5, I want the hideaway headlights. The next thing is the console, the radio, the cigarette lighter and the ashtray. That whole, the heat and cool elements, the whole setup of the dash was just a major upgrade. And I think they did a real good job on really polishing it up from the C5. The C5, I've done upgrades on it to kind of bring the dash out. But the C6, man, it already has it. So that's that one. The biggest upgrade that I think GM did was on the seats. They knocked the seats out the park. I love these seats, man. They're comfortable. Unlike the C5. Now the C5 seats kind of sink me down. I felt like I was sinking in those seats. And they're not bad seats, but they're not the best that you've ever seen. They're not the real good ones. So I ended up having to replace the seats in the C5 with some of the aftermarket seats, which really did it good. So those are the major things that I like about the C5 as compared to the C6. You've seen the C5 a little more than you've seen the C6. So the C5 is what it is, but that's my comparison. Hey, if you like my videos, like, subscribe, leave a comment. See you on the next one. So, let's talk about the engine in both cars. And the C5 has the LS1, and the C6 has the LS3. Now, I always thought that GM did a real good or does a real good job on the engines. And all the GM vehicles that I've ever had, I got good service on from. And so the C5 and the C6, no different. Both of them run around 350, 400 horsepower, and they're just fun to drive, man. I mean, with the C5, I've had the C5 for over 10 years, and in that time, I've only put a starter and an alternator on it. And I had this year, I changed out the compressor because my AC wasn't getting as cold as I wanted it to get, and that fixed it. But other than that, that's all I've done with the C5. I've put a fuel pump on the C6 since I've had it. So, you know, I mean, I've got really good, you know, service and fun out of both cars. I have literally no complaint. And I enjoy driving them. And so, you know, that's my thoughts on the engine. I mean, they really did a fantastic job, I thought. And I think that my first upgrade on the C6 is gonna be another radio. I like the radio that's in here. It's the factory radio. It works with the interior, but I just want something a little better. Now the speakers, I don't know if I would fool with the speakers. I may, but GM has good sound system. I have to give them that. They really did a good job on these cars, I thought, with both of the sound system, because I put another receiver radio in the C5, but I didn't change out the speakers, and I don't know. I'll probably leave the speakers in this one also, but I'm gonna be changing that radio out. And so yeah, this year we are actually, I got the C6 in 22, and so we had some things come up. We had planned to go down south to the beach. We're gonna go down around Biloxi and hang out for the weekend and just kind of kick it on the beach. And we've got that planned for this summer. So we're gonna be putting it on the highway. We're gonna see how it does on the highway, see what kind of gas mileage we get, and see how much more fun it can be. So we're gonna drop the top back and let it rip.